Hi, I'm Leilani, and today I'll be refuting, I call him Cheeto, I don't really know his real name. His topic was reviewing replay call regulations, and his main claim wasn't really clear, so from what I got out of it, he was saying how the game benefits from this rule. Now, his two secondary claims were also not very clear, so from what I got out of it, it was how the rules work and how people from the Major League Baseball feel about it. In his first part of his speech, he mostly explained how the rule works, which I think weakened his speech because he didn't really give, half his speech was about explaining the rule. I mean, that's also important, but that isn't really helping his speech. So we all know each club will receive one manager challenge to start the game. A manager may challenge as many reviewable calls within a single play as he desires using one challenge. Now, the points I'm going to make out is, are these replays helping the game of baseball? And is this going to make games drag even longer, which is a question that is brought up a lot. So far, are these replays helping the game of baseball? Early on in the process of introducing fans to expand replay in baseball, there have been complaints about replaying being a waste of time or being ineffective. Being able to challenge a play is something that baseball teams, along with their fans, should value. By getting the highest number of calls correct, replays allow the game of baseball to be a better product than it was before the expanded replay. While not every bad call has been the deciding factor in the baseball game, when they are able to be eliminated, the game becomes better, because each team has an equal chance of winning throughout based on how well they play. The time that replay takes will only get quicker as the process improves with repetition. So overall, the expansion of replay in baseball has changed the game for the better. Replay forces the quality of the game to improve, because if players get sloppy with the way they go about things, replay may show that they did not make a play that they should have. With replay in replays, the amount of effort on the field for any given play has been 100% effort to make the play. My second point is this going to make the game drag even longer? That is one of the big questions about the system. According to MLB officials on MLB.com, it says they expect the majority of reviews to take 60 to 90 seconds, but close calls with inclusive camera angles could easily take longer. Stalling by managers and players could add that more time. But for all of the talk about replay, it should be necessary that often. MLB's internal review of all 2013 games found that of the plays now eligible for replay, umpires got the call wrong only once every 6.4 games. There is no telling how often managers will decide to use their challenge, but to the Major League Baseball, giving them a choice is worth the delay. In conclusion, but with the expansion of instant replay use in Major League Baseball, it has now become less likely that a blown call will decide a key game during a standard race. Umpires now have something to help them to get most of the calls right on the field, and calls that stand without being confirmed are usually the right call anyway. The quality of the product shown to the fans now improves because the calls are now more often correct, along with players having to give more effort in order to make sure that the play is made, can't be overturned on further review. Ultimately, the review process will get smoother, with the experience and overall quality of the game will improve for baseball as it did when replay was introduced in the National Football League. Thank you.
Well, I guess there was an issue here about clarity because you basically give an argument in favor of the advocate's position. He's basically saying that the replay rule is improving the quality of the game, it's creating a better product, and that's what you spend the last 2 points in your speech providing additional evidence to support. So, in essence, there's not a dispute over what the inference is for either speaker. Both of you are saying the replay rule is improving the game of baseball. Have I summarized correctly the advocate's position?
Yeah.
You were saying this is a good idea and it's working, right?
I didn't really
Well, I think that you end up trying to do a critique of the advocate's speech rather than a refutation of the speech. So it's more like, now here's what he didn't do, or here are some problems. Now you didn't come quite out and say, here, let me make the argument better for him, but that's kind of in essence what you did, because you presented evidence that supports the claim that he's presenting here, and you give an explanation about why it's going to have a positive effect, which I think is, if you say there isn't any dispute on this, then I think your strategy ought to have gone the other direction and say, there's not really any controversy on this. Everybody's happy with this. Everybody thinks it's going to work. Everybody thinks it's going to improve this. So, in essence, all he's done is give an informative speech about how they've improved the quality of the game, not an argument that says this will improve the quality of the game. And I think that would be a potential way to go at that argument. Not being a big baseball fan myself, I couldn't say offhand how big a difference it matters, but I did think that there was one place where you had a statistic that I thought could be pretty helpful, and that is that Major League Baseball itself says that the umpires only miss one call every 6.75 games or something like that, and the likelihood that that call is going to be the one that changes the game is relatively small. So I think there's a good argument to be made that says, look, it's not that significant in the first place, so I'm not sure that we really need to have it. The other thing is that if it is important, there are multiple issues. Right now, under the rules, the manager can only have one play reviewed. And what happens the first time that we have a review, it goes the way the manager wants, so on and so forth, and then we have another controversial play an inning later. Sorry, you can't review that one. All hell's going to break loose, and that, I think, is a potential problem. That might have been a drawback that you could look at and point to. I know that it's out of your area, but it probably would have been helpful. I mean, I'd have been happy to give you some advice. I don't know that my advice would have been fantastic, but I think you'd have gone in a different direction that would have been a little bit more useful. All right. Well, I appreciate what you said. Thank you.